By Adamu Sambo on the Federal Executive Council's deliberations today is ready. Let's take it.
The Federal Executive Council meeting, which lasted about 9 hours, considered and approved a memorandum for the construction of 2 road projects linking Nigeria and the Republic of Niger.
First is Bale Kudula to Niger Republic border road in Sokoto in 9.576 billion naira. The second one is for Kanya Baba Babura to Niger Republic border phase 2, which is in Jigawa State, 19,763.567 million.
Apart from the enablement of business activities across the nation's borders in line with the Continental Free Trade Area Agreement signed by Nigeria, the projects are also part of the ministry's mandate of improving critical infrastructure under the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan. The council members also approved funds for the refurbishment of Accident Investigation Bureau's office in Abuja, as well as the establishment of the training school for accident investigation at over 1 billion naira.
Accident investigation, of course, they are like the pathologists of aviation, if you like, quote unquote. And so their job is to investigate accidents and incidents, and then with a view to preventing it happening again, and is not to apportion blame. So it's been very active these days, and it's part of our safety activity.
The Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, was also given the go-ahead by council members to extend consultancy services in respect of Kontagora, Auna Dam and Irrigation Project in Niger State at 734.5 million naira.
This is a project that was started in 1987 but was abandoned. And as part of our efforts to complete ongoing and abandoned projects that we inherited, we revived this project in 2017-2018. It makes sense for the consultants that have been working on the project to also have an extension of their services.
During the meeting of the council, ministers of mines and steel development, as well as communications and digital economy, took turns to give account of their accomplishments so far in line with the mandate areas approved for their ministries. This is part of efforts at ensuring faithful implementation of the next level agenda of the Buhari presidency for sustainable future of the country.
There's a gold purchase scheme. There's a presidential initiative on that, where the CBN has agreed to keep part of his foreign reserve in gold. So CBN will be the off-taker of the gold in Nigeria. We've licensed 2 refineries in Nigeria, and one is in Abuja, one is in Mowe in Ogun State. They will refine golds and, of course, produce bullion that the CBN can buy at international prices. So this is also encouraging mining in Nigeria.
To support the pledge of Mr. President of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty. Over 6,000 Nigerians have benefited from seed fund to support their startups in ICT. 48,099 Nigerians had been trained through digital job. And we have started integrating digitalization activities in government.
More ministers are expected to be engaged by the council members on their stewardship in subsequent meetings. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Thank you so much, Adamu Sambu, for all that. And on our business news, Abolade Salami is standing by and minding his business as usual. Abolade Salami, it's over to you.
Thank you so much, Fatima. Good evening and welcome to the business news segment. The federal government is conscious of its new borrowing from both domestic and foreign markets, and they need to raise revenue to offset its debts. That Director General Debt Management Office, Patience Sonia, said, although the government will borrow to finance infrastructure development, it is however pertinent to grow the nation's revenue to GDP ratio, which is currently operating at 7%.
We have need for borrowing to finance infrastructure, but we need to generate more revenue than we are currently generating as a country. Not only because you want to service debt, but because you want to do other things. Okay, so revenue is our challenge. The level of new borrowing is not like it's just going up, up, and up. if you start from 2016 up till now, you will see that the level of new borrowing in the budget has been reducing. So during the recession in 2016, the new borrowing in that budget for that year was about 2.3 trillion naira. If you look at last year and this year, it's about 1.6 trillion. The other year, 1.7 trillion. So we are conscious of that, but I think we should begin to focus on generating revenues.
The 2020 budget, she said, will accommodate an external borrowing of 850 billion naira, while domestic will take 744 billion naira. And now let's see what's happening in the global oil market. U.S. crude dropped below $50 this Wednesday, becoming the lowest level since January 2019, as Asia, Europe, and oil-producing countries in the Middle East reported hundreds of new coronavirus cases, and the United States warned of an inevitable pandemic. Brent crude fell 89 cents to $54.06 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude dropped 5 cents to $49.31 a barrel. And now let's cross over to the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Investors lose more than 36 billion naira as the NSE share index dips further by 0.22%. Here are details of midweek trading.
Equities markets depreciated by 0.22%, with an all-share index of 26,974 basis points. Volume of shares traded stood at 228.37 million, valued at 2.73 billion naira, which exchanged hands in 3,831 deals with a market capitalization of 14 trillion naira. Echo Core and UBA led the leaders table, while on the flip side, MTN Nigeria, Vitafoam and Redstrex declined in figures. On sectoral performance, outcome of most companies' shares resulted in positive stand of the sectors as NSE Banking, Consumer Goods and Industrial closed in green, appreciating by 0.38%, 0.01% and 1.95%, while NSE Insurance depreciated in figures by 1.14%, as NSE Oil and Gas remained unchanged.
And that's it on business. It's back to Fatima in Abuja for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Oh, thank you so much, Abolade, for the business package. Now, the last may not have been heard of the proposed increase of tariff by the electricity distribution companies. Annie Daniels reports that at a public hearing in Lagos, the proposal was condemned by consumers.
He got a property, so I asked the previous property owner, and he confirmed to me that for over 6 years, he did not have any tenant, and electricity was disconnected. They kept bringing me over 1 million naira.
But whenever you make any effort, they will tell you to go and pay that for us. They will explain, they will do something.
Some Lagosians speaking on poor power supply in Nigeria. While Nigerians were still agitating for improved electricity supply, distribution companies announced its proposed electricity tariff increase. This generated strong condemnation from electricity consumers across the country.
What is the rationale behind it?
Everybody is ready to pay when they are enjoying power.
What assurance can you give to Nigerians in case if they increase this tariff that they are going to give us a very good service that we desire?
Responding to these reactions, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission says there is no cause for alarm, insisting that due process must be followed.
If they were increasing the tariffs, for instance, but there was a cap on estimated billing, and people were receiving a more reasonable bill, even at an increased tariff, and people were getting more power, don't you think people would be happy? And so we must make it about what it really is.
The Commission came out with a cap. That cap instructs every distribution company to ensure that he cannot or they cannot bill consumers over and above that cap that we've set. If any distribution company is not happy with the cap, let them meter the customers.
In spite of reasons given by Discos for its proposed tariff increase, power consumers insist that first and foremost, prepaid meters be made available and adequate steps be taken to ensure that the idea behind its provision is not abused. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Now to a bit on agriculture. Can you remember when Nigeria was having commodity pyramids? Those were the days when agriculture was contributing hugely to the socio-economic well-being of the country. Now the pyramids are gradually resurfacing. This time around, it is not only the groundnuts, but rice pyramids as well. Let's now join our in-house agriculturist, Musa Babaliu, to tell us where we can find the pyramids.
There are indications suggesting that Nigeria will be having commodity pyramids as it was in the 60s and 70s. But this time around will not be that of groundnut, but rice pyramid. And this mini rice pyramid was established by Rice Farmers Association of Taraba State, housing over 40,000 bags.
Our history used to show that the economy of this country was based on agriculture through the pyramids that we have been seeing in the 60s and 70s, which I think from that time we have never seen one again until today, this morning, when we are here.
The rice is a collection from farmers who have benefited from the Anchor Borrowers program. The initiative is designed in such a way that inputs and cash backing are given to farmers to pay back with their produce.
We have 168 wards.
The country. From Jalingo, Taraba State, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Nice one there all the way from Taraba. Thank you so much, Musa Babaliu. Necessity truly is the mother of invention, and like Nigerians will say, na condition make refuge bend. This perhaps could be the best description of our next story by correspondent Abdullahi Garba Kudu. It is the story of motorcyclists hitherto operating in Lagos who are adjusting to life in their localities after the ban on okada business by the Lagos State government. Over to you, Abdullahi.
25-year-old Adamu hails from Warwade village of Jigawa State. I used to make at least 5,000 naira on daily basis from the okada business before the Lagos State government ban on this mode of transportation. There are thousands of youth like Adamu who on yearly basis move from their northern localities in search for what they refer as greener pasture through artisanship and petty tradings. But the worst hit are those affected by the recent ban on okada practice by the Lagos State government. Newsman curiosity took me to their base to find out how they cope with life. And although it is not easy to adjust, but the situation has forced many to go into irrigation farming in addition to local transportation business.
I stay for Lagos, Ogun State, Delta, and Wari. Now they work now.
Give us fertilizer, give us pumping machines. I assure you we will feed ourselves and stop going to cities for okada.
The question in the lips of many is why this rural-urban migration, despite huge potentials in their localities.
Demographic pressure, because we now have a lot of young men that are unemployed, and the agricultural land is also being, if you like, encroached by expansion in terms of houses around the villages.
We are taking census of all those okada riders that come back, and we'll be interviewing them and see how we can support them.
Necessity, they say, is the mother of invention. They are engaged in farming activities. What is required is for government to come to their aid with the necessary farm implements, so that they will stay at home and do the farming all year round.
From Duse, Abdullahi Garba NTA News.
For them to think outside the box, outside cycling or being cyclist, I say it's a good one. So we wish them all the best as they farm. I have often wondered why employment is not one of man's basic needs, because employment, be it self or working for somebody, is definitely an important aspect of survival. That is what the federal government, through the National Directorate, tells us all about it.
Ebuaga Stanley is one out of thousands of Nigerian youths seeking opportunity to provide labor-intensive infrastructural development to better their lot.
I'm filled with overjoyed that I'm one of the beneficiaries of this program.
The launch of the presidency's pilot special public work on rural areas is a calculated attempt of the federal government to change the face of the entire nation for good. In addition to the employment multiplier effect of the scheme on the economy, representatives of the Ministry of Science and Technology believes that in the full phase of the program, over 185 youths will have been engaged.
It is evident that all well-meaning Nigerians should rally around the federal government in its quest to turn around the fortunes of our great nation. I want to assure Mr. President and the Director General of NTA that the states will not misuse this opportunity and will embrace it with our two arms.
Under the pilot phase, 40,000 unemployed youths from the 8 participating states of Adamawa, Ebonyi, Edo, Ekiti, Borno, Jigawa, Katsina, and Kwara will be engaged as drainage digging and irrigation canal clearance, rural feeder road maintenance, street clearing, traffic control, and other public work activities for a period of 3 months. In Abakaliki, Blessing Anyanwu, NTA News.
If governance is all about the people and meeting their needs, then there will be less agitation. This is why in Osun State, the Osun State government has decided to take governance to the doorstep of the people in their community so as to appreciate their exact needs and assuage their pains in order to avoid their priorities being misplaced. Femi Afariogun brings us details on the maiden edition of such interactive forum between the people and the governor, tagged Akpeiro.
The people of Ifelodun Borikwe Odotin Federal Constituency with headquarters in Ikirun, Osun State are predominantly traders and farmers and would not leave anything to chance, saying the seat of government temporarily moved to their community for a one-on-one interaction with the governor. The civic engagement tagged Akpeiro in Yoruba, first in the series, is a forum for the various communities to table their needs before the governor, avoid misrepresentation, especially when the good intentions of government are not seen as being in the best interest of the people.
Communication should take 2 ways. You talk to the people, you get feedback from the people. That's the reason why I said it's government unusual.
We are appealing to the government that they should lay emphasis on Greek, because that's the only way this federal constituency can rise and step up.
Promises have been made by successive administrations, yet the people feel distance from government as their needs are either not met or not adequately met in spite of promises made.
So this is a platform to reconcile what the people want plus what the governor is doing.
Governor Boyega Oyetola is determined to change the narrative. He used the opportunity to assure the people of speedy completion of primary health centers in the 332 wards across the state, in addition to the 54 kilometers of roads already awarded.
The essence of this Akpeiro is to give opportunity and for them to be able to participate in the way we're running the affairs of the state. And that's the essence of democracy, actually.
This civic engagement program, Akpeiro, is expected to hold monthly, and it will be taken to the 9 federal constituencies of Osun State. From Ikirun, Femi Afariogun, NTA News.
A beautiful initiative there. As part of efforts geared towards enhancing national security and promoting ease of vehicle identification and robust data management, the Federal Road Safety Corps has concluded processes towards the full implementation of 3 number plates for articulated vehicles, according to a statement by the Corps Public Education Officer, BC Kazim, it is statutory for articulated vehicles to have 3 number plates, which are to be visibly placed at the front of the tractor, at the back of the tractor, and a 3rd number plate placed at the back of the trailer or tanker. The Corps Public Education Officer quoted the Corps Marshal Dr. Boboye Oyeyemi as saying that the Corps is working endlessly to ensure that all articulated vehicles are captured in the NVRS portal to boost information base and also make identification of such vehicles easy for intelligence gathering and security of road users. Kazim called on the monitoring public to always tune into the National Traffic Radio 107.1 FM to report any articulated vehicles sighted without the required 3 number plates, obstruction or any emergency noticed on the road for immediate action. The station can also be reached through its social media handles as follows: WhatsApp 080-5299-7848, Facebook Traffic Radio 1, Twitter at Traffic Radio 1, Instagram Traffic Radio 1, or call the following numbers: Glow 080-5299-8090, MTN 090-6700-0015, and SMS on Glow 080-5299-8012, and the FRSC toll emergency line 122. The albatross and corruption in Africa. Who are the new antagonists? Stay with us. We'll be
when you wake up in the morning.